Morning, everyone. Trustee Penn, I know that we congratulated Dr. Hersham, but I believe that we should do it one more time because this might be the last meeting we see him after what he said about President Montgomery. I don't know. It was good working with you. But if you don't believe me, look at Trustee Miller. It's about to go. It's about to go. Speaking of which, you might have known, some of you know that Trustee Miller gave us some of his time a couple of weeks ago to share with students and the faculty on campus part of his brain. He gave us some really good ideas. We have very interesting questions for him, such as his bank account and routing number, which he didn't give us, unfortunately, but that's okay. A couple of years ago, I was in a GA training, and during that GA training, the director of career services, Lee Kelly Iverson, is she here today? She's usually here. No? Well, if she'll be here, she'll probably be smiling right now until she hears what I'm about to say. But that day, she taught us something. She said, steal shamelessly. And when I heard that, I did the Tucker Carlson face, like, have you seen Tucker Carlson in Fox News? If you haven't, I recommend it. It's really good comedy. And when I heard it, I said, seriously? Steal shamelessly? Wow. Well, but if you made it this far with that philosophy, I started looking around to see what I could grab, a misplaced purse or something. But then she said, any great ideas or good practices that you see, steal them shamelessly. And I said, oh, okay, that's what she meant. That was close because I was about to hear the rest of that speech in jail. But thankfully, that didn't happen. But the reason why I bring that up is because at the last Board of Trustees meeting, Dr. Goskins, which is checking her iPad right now, she had the audacity to bring one of the faculty with a very interesting and engaging project to share with us. And I thought to myself, oh, but the graduate students are doing that too. So you hear me all the time talking about the 3-minute thesis competition, but you have never seen it because you haven't attended. But I thought, if you haven't attended, why don't we bring it to you? And that's what we are about to do, is stealing Dr. Goskins' idea. So I want to bring your attention to the back of the room. There is a monitor. You may want to touch it. Oh, I'm going to go there in a second. But there will be a clock winding down with 3 minutes. And there will be a student here presenting his research idea in just under 3 minutes. So I want you to pay attention that he will finish at the same time that the clock will finish. So with that, let me welcome the graduate student, David Sottil. Come on over. Then give me a minute.
So I can get a good space here. All right, excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is David Sottil. I am a Ph.D. student in the Department of Psychology, and I'm going to be presenting the results of my thesis. Have you ever done anything risky? I'd be willing to bet that everyone in this room has done something risky at some point in their lives. But what do we mean when we say risk? For behavioral scientists, we all need to mean the same thing so we can all be on the same page. So for a behavioral scientist, a risky choice is something that has a chance of leading to something good happening and something bad happening as well. Now, understanding the conditions that lead to risk-taking behavior has been a big area of interest for a long time in the behavioral sciences. But it turns out a lot more people are interested in this as well. This is because many of our most critical public health challenges directly relate to risk-taking behavior. The opioid crisis is risk-taking. Drunk and distracted driving is risk-taking. Unsafe sex is risk-taking. So my study is about understanding the conditions that lead to risk-taking. It's a fairly simple study involving college students working on a computer game called The Wheel of Fortune, which is named for the famous game show of the same name because it shares some pretty obvious similarities to it. You can see the game on the bottom left-hand corner of my screen there. Now, participants on any given trial could spin the wheel as many times as they wanted to. And each spin had a chance of leading to them earning more money and had a chance of them losing all the money they'd earned so far on the trial. So it meets our definition of risk very nicely. participants could protect their earnings by pressing the collect button at any point, which would also end the trial. Now, participants played 180 trials altogether. We manipulated 3 different variables in this study: the payoff in tokens for a win, the chance of bankruptcy, and then also whether they started out with any money at the beginning of the trial. Now, the graph shows the main results of my study, and each data point represents a different condition of the study. Now, as the panels move from left to right, that is the chance of bankruptcy decreasing, and we can see this had a substantial effect on risk-taking. As the chance of bankruptcy decreases, risk-taking increases substantially. The payoff in tokens increases from left to right on each line, and we can also see that there was an effect at the lower levels of bankruptcy and almost no effect at the higher levels of bankruptcy. And the last variable, whether they started out with any money, if they started out with some money, that's represented by the open circles, and if they started out with no money, that's the closed circles. And we can also see there's a clear effect on risk-taking as well, with starting out with no money, increasing risk-taking substantially. So in conclusion, we've learned a little bit more about the conditions that lead to risky choice by understanding how different variables interact in risky situations. And we'll see you next time that we spin the Wheel of Fortune.
Thank you. Any questions for David? Lots of. Well, you all know there will be another competition in the spring, so let your students know that it's in February, and I'll give you more information on that in January. Thank you very much.